Saludos, Aquiles. How are you? I hope everything is well. Okay, so let me get this thing together. Tres, tres en la mano que. Todavía, el viernes es mi cumpleaños, el miércoles, el viernes, agosto 22. My birthday is August the 22nd. I turned 63 years old, just in case you're not here Friday. But thank you so much for the early birthday wishes. Thank you so much. Saludos, Damon. Saludos to you. Well, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that too as well. I will. Let's get a couple of more. We have 7 already. That's unbelievable. That's great. That's wonderful. We have 7 so far. They let me go. They had me. They had me. They had me. They were slapping me around. Unbelievable, but true. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Watch Market Update Show. You know, before I get into all the topics that I would like to share with all of you, please don't forget, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel, if somebody has invited you to take a look-see at this unbelievable Watch Market Update Show, you know, subscribe to the channel. I believe you, maybe at first you won't understand too much because we have a lot of different ways of, you know, saying things in this channel and you have to catch up. But if you can, subscribe to the channel. Please do that, right? You won't regret it, believe me. All right, guys? So I also want to talk to you a little bit about the gold prices. You know, I'm going to talk to you about gold is still, you know, holding firm. You know, they're really holding on. Gold is at $3,392. And ladies and gentlemen, I can only tell you the gold is just, you know, really waiting for the big cabunazo, you know, kaboom, you know, because it's right there, you know, that 3392, 3,400 and change. And I believe that in any moment it's gonna blow up, you know. Also, I've been talking to you guys for some time of rhodium. I've been talking to you about rhodium, and rhodium is getting very, very scary. At this moment, rhodium again is at, again, just going up, you know, to between $7,800 and $7,900 the troy ounce of rhodium. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you know about this, but the catalytic, you know, converter, you know, the cars have, you know, there's a lot of people out there, you know, vandalizing cars and stealing cars, you know, and taking their you know, catalytic. You know, I don't know how to say that word too well. You know, my English is not the best in the world, but it's catalytic, you know, converter, you know. And I want you guys to know this just in case you want to find out what does the catalytic converter have in rhodium. And I want to just tell you it has between a 0.03 and a 0.07 ounces in that converter. So you understand that these people are risking their life, you know? They're risking their lives when they go under a car to get that catalytic converter from your car. And you saw what it has, you know? 3.7 ounces of rhodium. But they put their life on the line to get that rhodium. So you understand what's going on. Today again, it jumped up again. You know, it jumped up again, and who knows? Maybe this thing is just gonna blow up again. You know, because things are going bananas. So you know, be smart. Don't be Don't be dodo birds, but exactly, exactly. They're stealing it anywhere. You park your car, and those come with two pliers. Bing, bing, bing. Get the catalytic converter off, you know, and this is the little bit it has of rhodium. But as you can hear, an ounce, a troy ounce of rhodium is at $7,900 a troy ounce. So, I'm just trying to give you some information, so you understand what's going on. Also, ladies and gentlemen, I want you guys to know that yesterday I felt that we were having an unbelievable watch market update show, and everything was beautiful. We talked about, different things, and we got into the watch market update, and I was giving all of you my pricing on all these watches, but I believe that my equipment and my equipment that I have is not the best in the world, and something happened. It got kind of, like my little grandson tells me, the Frozen, that movie, The Frozen, and you know what I'm trying to say, Mr. Damon, Mr. D. And so that happened. I will continue where I left off yesterday with that watch market update. Where I left you off, I believe it was in that AP. The AP, Adamas Piquet Royal Oak Perpetual Calendar. I'm going to give you that too, where I left you guys off, because I had a lot of you worry about me. Some people left me some beautiful messages. They thought they had me hostage, with a black thing over my head, and they took me away, some people wanted me to reply back to them to let them know that I was all right, and I replied back because, I have, this is no show here. This is for real, I told Kino that, we have unbelievable subscribers in this channel that care about me and him, because, the day you see Kino, you know, the day you see Kino, that's what I got to say, If you want, put the rest of the sentence what I want to say, so we are right, we're fine. Nothing happened to us, even though that some of you were very worried. I didn't realize that, you guys were not even hearing me no more, and I couldn't believe it, that the last watch market update of the night was with that AP Royal Oak Yellow Gold Perpetual Calendar. I couldn't believe it. Me and Kino, we spoke about it, and we're gonna have to, tone down, certain things, because my computer's not the best in the world, and let me drink some jungle juice before I say the wrong thing. Let me drink some jungle juice. I don't know, my wife wants me to keep on drinking that because she says it cleanses my head. Unbelievable, that wife of mine. Unbelievable. But ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know that everything is good and there's no problem. Ladies and gentlemen, I have something else to tell you too, ladies and gentlemen. In this channel, I try to tell you everything that Thurston Howell the Third, prune juice, it. Cleanse my head. It cleanses my head. Unbelievable. Good job, Thurston. So everything that I learn, that I pick up, because I'm a student of life. I'm looking at things, and sometimes it's good to be that way, and sometimes it's not good, because you're ahead. At least in your mind, you think you're ahead of the game, and the rest are behind you. But that's just me thinking. I don't know if you guys watch your local news in whatever city you live in, New York, California, Texas, all that good stuff, Boston. You know what I'm trying to say, right? Miami, all that. Well, I want you to know something, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to know something. Every single local news, let's leave ABC, CBS, and NBC out of this, equation. Let's leave them out for now. I could put them in there if I want to now, but I want to leave them out. Saludos, saludos, amica Florida. I think it's Florida. I think, yeah, Florida. So when you're watching your local news, the local news, when you're watching it, I want you guys to know this, ladies and gentlemen. The local news that you're watching in California and the local news that I'm watching in Miami and New York and Boston and Texas is going to be the same news. The same news. It's all script already. It's all script. The anchor, the news anchor is going to repeat what he has. Everybody in the United States that watches local news, you're going to hear the same thing. A plane crash, a mother did this, a father did this, something, a terrorist, whatever it is, the same thing. You're going to hear the same thing from every different local news in America, allegedly. I'm learning how to use the word allegedly. The only thing you're going to hear different from the California and New York and Miami, Florida, whatever it is, you're going to hear the temperature, the person that does the forecasts, that one is going to talk about that. It's going to be different, but the rest is the same thing. It's a script memo. Everybody reads the same thing and we're good to go. You might be thinking, why am I talking about that? They give you the MK Ultra. They put a channel 7 with a thing going around in circles. The MK Ultra to get you there stuck watching their channel. The local news. Forget about ABC, NBC, and CBS. Local news. But that same news is going to be the same thing given all around the United States. So listen and learn. So they no sean lambones y palomos. Listen and learn. So this is how they work with us, It's the same thing. Whatever. Flood. It was a big flood over here. That one says the same thing. There was a big flood over here. The other one says the same thing. Over and over and over and over again. You got people that read. The news anchors. They read the same sketch. The same sketch. Nobody changes. It's the same thing. All staged, all scripted. And they give you the MK Ultra. The Pluto. The Pluto. And the reason I'm talking about that, ladies and gentlemen, they've been giving you the Pluto right now, these watch dealers, You have the other guy, the hungry hippo, Mr. Magoo, giving you the obey, obey, obey. You know what I'm saying? Obey. You're going to pay the 39% tariff, You have there, the walrus, the walrus, telling you the same thing. The Pluto trance, the Pluto trance, what they do to olive oil, believe me, And you have also the two toddler body brothers giving it to you too. Boom, boom. It's like the local news, They all get the same memo sent out by who? By Deputy Boxing Black Eyes, He sends it out, You got that guy over there from Beverly Hills, feet happy. Well, one brother is smart, one brother is slow, nothing wrong with that, One brother is very talkative, the other one is introverted. You know what I'm saying? The ones that hang out with the toupee wig man, with the flower shirts and the jeans and the pointy shoes and the green belt, That guy, you know what I'm talking about. You understand what I'm talking about. And they're all together, ladies and gentlemen, And ladies and gentlemen, you just have another one that just came out. He was in hiding and he came out. There are two brothers as well. We're talking about Big Pun and Heavy D. And they're telling you now that the tariffs and the tariffs and the tariffs and more, Pluto trance. Boom, boom, to get you going so you can believe what's going on. This has been a memo that has been sent out by that unbelievable man, which I call Deputy Boxing Black Eyes. Don't ever forget that, ladies and gentlemen. I know what I'm telling you and what's happening. It's unbelievable what's happening out there. What these people are doing to us is not, not fair because, I am a small platform, trying to do my best to awaken your people up, Some of you are still, they have tried very hard to dumb down on you people, you know. They see you as dumb skis, you know, and that's not right because I don't see you as dumb skis. I see you as very well rounded man, you know. I believe that most of you here are men, so that's why I say that, you know. But I'm trying to tell you the same, these people are unbelievable. They get the same blueprints from all those local, you know, channel newses wherever you live at. They practice it on you guys. If you look at the local news, they always use the color red, you know, going in circles, you know, to give you the Pluto trance, you know, to get you dizzy. You know what I'm trying to say? You understand me? I mean, this is unbelievable, but it is what it is. Listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. There's no channel out there, you know, like Sweet Kid Kino's channel. No channel. There's no channel like Sweet Kid Kino's channel. You know, he's the brains, Bravo Kino, you know, and I'm the voice. But, you know, the one that knows everything here is no other than Sweet Kid Kino, the owner of this channel, ladies and gentlemen. He's the one that talks about everything and tells me what to do. Listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. They're out there, so many of them throwing around, you know, that coin flip, you know, the $5,000 coin flip, $20,000 coin flip. You know what I'm saying? Ustedes no sean lambones. You understand me? You got to stop being obedient. You know, you cannot continue being obedient. You know, those masses, you know, slaves. You can't no more, ladies and gentlemen. You know, you gotta be strong, stand firm. You know, firm, ¿verdad? Firm. You know, you got to be there, strong. You know, and you know, you guys want to soar with the eagles. You guys don't want to continue, you know, crawling with the rats. You guys cannot continue doing that. And this is what they're doing. They're passing around the memo to everybody else. You repeat the same thing, 39%, 39%. You saw that, man. They don't believe, you know, they don't believe. Listen, these people, some of these people, I don't want to use the word narcissist, but they got used to, you know, palomos, you know, they got used to, you know, ¿tú entiendes? They got used to, you know, gente, you know, that, you know, a bunch of cow tippers, you know, a bunch of possum kickers, lollipop suckers, window lickers, palmolive dish lickers, crayon eaters, you know, sandbags, crumb bums. And eso es así, el ratón, papi, el ratón. You know, these people are rats. These people are an infection in the corner of your nail, you know, an infection that you have to get the pus out. These people are an infection. And this is the only channel that does this. It's me only. And what do I get? I'm not going to tell you what I get because, you know, I can't, you know, no more. I'm trying my best to keep on helping you people around, you know, and this is not, esto no está bueno, papi, esto no está bueno. I want to also tell you guys something, ladies and gentlemen, because you guys have been, you know, asleep for a long time. You know, I know that we have a bunch of recovering tomato cans in this channel, and I love that. You know, because at one moment you guys were tomato cans, but now you are recovering tomato cans. Some of you already, I'm giving out ribbons that you've made the course. Unbelievable, true. Unbelievable. But ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. You know, I always kid around with the gentleman toupee wig man with the flower shirt, the pointy shoes, yellow shoes, you know, with the pink jeans, you know, green belt, and the toupee. And I always tell you that this guy is worth over $400 million. Driving around a Rolls Royce, driving around a Ferrari, a gold fast car. But you know, sometimes you gotta say the truth in life, ladies and gentlemen. You know, this man, toupee wig man, you know, toupee wig man. You know, he's from a stable from those feet happy gentlemen. You know, one is tall, one is short, one talks, one doesn't talk. You know, you know what I'm trying to tell you, ladies and gentlemen. I've known for quite some time that this gentleman has been trying to sell his home in Beverly Hills, and he was asking for that house. Well, let me just say this: every time that he makes a video, he'll make a video of other mansions around Beverly Hills. This is for real, ladies and gentlemen. He shows million-dollar houses. 300 million, 200 million mansions. Over there. And then every time he shows his house, the only thing you get to see in his house, if you're lucky, you get to see his kitchen that looks very tired and old. And then he'll show you, a little closet that he has with his watches, but he will never show you his house. And I'm going to explain to you why. I'm going to explain to you. Remember, this supposedly is a man that's worth $400 million, and he has a house for sale for $4.5 million. And ladies and gentlemen, he hasn't had any takers in that watch. Listen and learn, Papi, so you can hear the sketch. Listen and write it down. Listen to me. I'm going to say again, allegedly. That way I got to say every 5 minutes, allegedly. So he has that house, that the only thing he shows you is that old, dusty looking kitchen and that, closet behind, I don't know what it is. That's what he shows you. But the rest, he'll show you everybody's mansions all over. Exactly. It could be true. Who knows, To each his own. Cada cabeza es un mundo. Exactly. You understand me, Christopher. You know what I'm trying to say. Thurston, you understand what I'm saying. But I got to give it to you guys because enough is enough. Because you guys are sleeping in the hay. And we say in Spanish, están dormidos en las pajas, right? In Spanish, we say, están dormido en las pajas. You're sleeping in the, the hay in the farm, We cannot continue sleeping in the hay in the farm, no more. So this guy's selling his house. So ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know this. This house is a rundown house that he can't sell it for the $4.5 million. And he dropped it now. You're not going to believe this. Let me drink some jumbo juice. You're not going to believe this. He dropped it down to $3 million, It's a tired looking house, all tired looking house. There's nothing, no view, nothing. And ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to bring this up, but I have to so you guys understand me, It's very close. His house is very close. I don't know if you guys know about this. Do you guys remember a young lady, back in the day? Her name was Sharon Tate. You know Sharon Tate? You guys don't know about Sharon Tate. Well, Sharon Tate was a beautiful woman, full of life, and that, that quote, Charlie Manson, the Manson, whatever you call that guy, and exactly that lady, exactly. Help me out, guys, help me out with the words, exactly, So Toupee Wigman lived right next to where that, tragedy happened, where that Sharon Tate, died, and they knocked down that house and they made an unbelievable house there, an unbelievable house. And then you see the house that Toupee Wigman has. It's unbelievable, pobrecito, How can I be saying that a person has $400 million and living in un rancho, It's kind of embarrassing, But I had to tell you this because there is a lot of, window lickers out there that love this man. And it's beautiful that you guys love him. Keep on loving him, man. What's wrong with that? When you see a man that's worth $400 million pushing watches, there's trouble there. Okay? So you know what's going on. Toupee Wigman, he's poochie, living in the old, he's living in a toilet. He's living in a toilet. He's living in a toilet. So, if he's worth $400 million and he's living in that house, then, coño, if they see my godfather's house, you're being shocked. My godfather's house. It's unbelievable. But ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to share that with you, okay? I wanted to get that out of the way. Toupee Wigman is a sketch. He's a sketch. Ladies and gentlemen, I also have something else to tell you. In this channel, we have people that are very, very gente truntiva, gente very, very smart, brilliant minds that we have in this channel. The only brilliant mind here is not Kino. You guys are also brilliant. And I always like to give a shout out to people that recommend, good documentaries and good movies. And again, we have Mr. Donut that he has recommended America Freedom to Fascism. And I talk to you guys, and this is when you find out that some people are unbelievable. And at this moment, Mr. Dona has shown me that he is awakened. He is totally awakened. And I've been telling you about the gentleman, Aaron Russo, Aaron Russo. And Aaron Russo is the one that, he's the one that talks, he's the one that talks, and he did a lot of things. Aaron Russo did the movie Trading Places, ladies and gentlemen, with Eddie Murphy, you know, and that lady and Dan Aykroyd. You know what I'm trying to say, right? This is who this guy is. And I told you that he got associated with those people, those people, the owners of the world, and he made this documentary, which I recommend to all of you. It's called America, Freedom, and Fascism. And it's an unbelievable documentary. Jamie Lee Curtis is in that movie too as well. Correct. And so this man is very, very big. But after he did this documentary, the one that I'm talking about, he got ill. Let's just leave it there. He got ill. So if let me tell you something. If you see this documentary, the way they talk, just remember Jekyll Island. Jekyll Island. You don't know about Jekyll Island, but if you don't know and you want to know, you Google it and you look for Jekyll Island, and they talk about all that. We've been paying in this system. We've been paying taxes all our lives, and if you see that documentary, it's gonna blow your hair back and knock your socks off, ladies and gentlemen. The way they talk in that documentary, I'm telling you, listen to what they say. Listen to what they say. They say that the Republican Party has the Genovese, the Ivy League school. Genovese, you know who the Genovese is? Genovese. And then they say that the Democrat Party, they have the Gambino family. So when you have a chance, because let me tell you, I can tell you from the movies that I have watched here, recommended by all of you out there, in the documentaries, I'm telling you, you have to see this movie this documentary, excuse me, of Aaron Russo, which I believe dearly that he was, you know, sometimes you cannot be saying that when you look to the sky, you're seeing chemtrails. You gotta be quiet, man. You gotta make believe that you don't see no trails. You can't. And if that happened to what's his name, that guy, the Prince guy, you know, you know, you can't be doing what Aaron Russo did for us. He did it for us. Aaron Russo, he did. He put his health on the line. Mr. Dona, am I saying it nicely or am I saying it wrong? Is it to your standards the way I'm saying it? Remember Jekyll Island. These people are unbelievable. These owners of the world, papi, es increíble. It's incredible. I want you to know this, Mr. Donut. I seen this in different parts. Again, not this whole documentary, in different parts. Da, 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 da. So when you find out, what they've been doing to us for so long, you're gonna go, man. That Mr. Donut, man, he's dropped so much knowledge over there. He's really shared with all of you something special, and you guys should be happy about that. And also, I'm so happy that I believe all of you know about this already, but I'm happy that somebody also knows what I'm talking about. You know, when you see these monsters that got together, I told you about the trifecta, the super trifecta. You know, the trifecta. You know, you got J.P. Morgan and you got Rockefeller and you got a dodo bird in the middle, and these people are unbelievable. These, let me tell you, these people back then, Bobby, I don't know what they had in their brain, but these people were unbelievable to get you taken. You know the word taken? To get you taken. This is what they did to you, those people back then. I don't even know what year it was, but I can tell you that my father wasn't born, and I don't know if my grandfather was born. You know, I don't know what I'm saying, but it is what it is. So if you want to look at something that's going to be very te va a beneficiar, you know, it's going to be very beneficial, you know, for you people, you should take a look at that documentary that this gentleman by the name of Mr. Donut is really recommending. And Mr. Donut, don't forget to, you know, throw it out there every once in a while. So they, you know, the same thing they do to all these people that collect watches, you know, these Muppet Boiler Room secondary gray watch market channels and dealers. They send out the memo. We're going to tell them all that the 39% is going to come in and the 39% is going to stay and it's never going to go back down again. So the same thing. We must defend each other. You know, we must defend each other. I don't want to. I don't want to, you know, bore you with this, but to be honest, this is nothing boring. This is um, this is major league stuff, man. You know, and this is nothing of being a conspiracy theorist or nothing. This is for real. Let's let's uh, let's get out of the equation. You know, a conspiracy theory. You know, let's get that out of the way. This is for real, and you know, and this is why somebody wrote this. Somebody wrote when they were watching this documentary, the one that Mr. Donald recommended, and he said, "It's incredible that this documentary is in this platform. It only has it only has I don't know, it only has 800,000 views, you know, and what they're putting there is like, wow, it's there, and like I'm telling you, I think that his biggest mistake, Aaron Russo, was, you know, stepping on those, you know, people's toes. I already told you. I don't know if you heard me. I told you that Aaron Russo, you know, he was befriended by one of the Rockefellers, you know, and they became real pals. I mean, real pals. And the things that, you know, he was being told, you know, were big. And again, Aaron Russo was a big producer, and you know what it is when you have a chance, take a look at exactly America, freedom, and fascism. Papa, what you're gonna see there is the I have talked to you about, every time I see something, I say this is powerful. You know, this one you have to sit down with a little glass of cognac, a little bit of jungle juice, and watch it because you know it's okay. Okay, Doctor Evil. So take a look at that, and I really mean that. All kidding aside, you have to see that documentary. I think I told you about, the network. I talked to you about banking system. That documentary as well. But this is the one that you're gonna graduate from what you have missing. So you can see the big. Man, they even say there the biggest fraud they have ever done in America. So, all right. So I'm gonna go into a watch market update, and I'm gonna continue where I left it off yesterday, guys. All right. So one more time, don't forget to watch it. I mean, I didn't know that. I'm trying to get out of this, but myself, I'm going back in. I didn't know that Dr. Donut, Mr. Donut, was so pretty much, empapado. He was very well wetted, wet with all this information. And honestly, you don't find that kind of, those kind of people out there, because it's a very, it's a small, exactly, that's what it is. You got to see that. It's a very, as you can see, I'm not even making fun of this, because there's nothing to be making fun of this. This is the biggest hoodwink. This is the biggest flim flam, you know, that we have been fleeced. We have been fleeced. I mean, it's unbelievable. We have been fleeced. And today you have so many Americans that are skip hopping around through life, and they're not even questioning that, they're not even questioning it. And so in reality, like they say in the documentary, yeah, they're enforcing all this, and what are we going to do? They have all the guns. You know what I'm trying to say? Did you understand what I said? Did anybody understand that? Because when you hear it, you go, oh, what are we going to do here, man? Yeah, so what? So what? They're stealing from us. What are we going to do? They have all the guns. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think none of you got what I said, but that's right. Oh my God. So I'm gonna go into the watch market update before it gets late. I left you guys yesterday. Somebody's asking me right now, say that again, right? And I'm gonna say it again. Remember, I'm trying to say things in a way that you can guys help me out by understanding and put your effort into it. They're saying that that all of us are being charged taxes, that we're paying taxes all our lives, and in reality, we don't have to pay taxes. Allegedly, that's what the documentary says. So they say that. So we've been paying taxes, and they say, okay, right, we've been paying taxes forever. It's one of those agents that work over there, and the RIS, and you say, yeah, but so what? What can we do about it? They have all the guns. You know, the big business. Forget it. You have to see the documentary. It's gonna blow your mind away. It's gonna blow your mind away. Right? What is it? What price you looking for, Alex? What price do you need? Tell me right now, which is the watch you're looking for? Is it the Sprite stainless steel oyster bracelet with the black dial and green and black ceramic bezel? Well, I'm gonna give it to you. Hear me out. Don't pay. Don't pay. Although, okay, it's a GMT Master Rose Gold. Okay. GMT Master Rose. Okay. You mean the root beer? The root beer? All right, I'm gonna get into the watch market up there, guys. Right? Left yesterday. Okay, don't pay for that watch more than $33,000, Alex. I have that watch. Don't pay more than 33. Don't pay more than 33 for the root beer, rose gold. Okay? Don't pay more than 33. No seas un lambón. All right, guys. I left you off yesterday with a watch that a lot of you wanted to hear, and that watch is it is the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Yellow Gold Annual Calendar 41 millimeter, reference number 26574 BA. When you hear on these watches BA on AP, and that's a very unbelievable time machine, very short, edition, the wishy-washy stuff, limited edition, lottie. But that watch at one moment, ladies and gentlemen, it has a blue dial. It's an incredible watch. It's one of those bing, 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 bing in your car, wire, and just send the money out. Over $475,000. Achilles is saying don't pay more than $192,000. Achilles, do me a favor. With all the money you're giving away, please help out the homeless, animal shelters, all that good stuff, right? Do the right thing. Don't pay for that watch more, and I mean don't pay for that watch more than $152,000 in dumping. All right, there it is. Okay, there it is. So you know I don't forget. Where it stopped, I'm continuing on. All right. Our next watch is the Jaeger LeCouture Reverso. You know, Juan Duato. You know, Moon Pink. Reference number 3352420. Retail price is $28,600. Unbelievable. Rose gold, you know? Unbelievable. Ladies and gentlemen, don't pay for that watch. Sir, you really want this watch because you've been really asking me about reversal for the last, I believe, for the last 3 weeks. And please forgive me for not giving you this, you know, these prices. I'm going to give you 2 reversals today. Not 1, 2. I'm going to make up 2 of them. Don't pay for that one. Don't pay more than $9,200, right? Don't pay more than $9,200. The other one is a Jaeger LeCouture, you know, reversal, grande reverso, ultra thin, rose gold. Retail price is $20,900. You know, pink gold, all that good stuff. Don't pay for that watch more, and I mean more than $7,900. Okay? That was for you, Papa. That was for you. I hope you're all right. Okay? All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been talking to you guys for some time about Richard Mille watches being dead. And I will continue, to tell you guys, maybe the word dirt is not a good, good word to use, dead, because, you know what I'm saying? So I'm going to have to, maybe you guys can help me with a new word so we can get, STD, STD, NTP, TPT, but I stay with the word STD. Kino showed me that word, Exactly. So this watch right here, this model, I'm gonna give it to you. The Richard Mille RM6501, black carbon, with STD, TPT, skeletonized, black, case, green strap. And ladies and gentlemen, this watch, the only people that had these watches was in that side of the world. I think is Asia, Asia, all the way, all the way, Asia, all the way real far down there, those people had it. Like the guy, which I call, the Iron Sheik, tunic man with the hat, the black thing here, the tunic always on, over there, and he had those watches. And let me explain to you something. These watches, they will not drop from 1,200,000, 1,100,000, 900,000, $800,000. This watch that I'm talking about right now, Bobby, this watch is, don't get involved in this watch. Don't get involved. The 6501, with that unbelievable carbon, TPT. Ultra thin, light gray, unbelievable, monster of a watch, unbelievable. You know what? I said it wrong. I said it wrong. It is the black carbon TPT, okay, with the black case and the green strap. Don't pay for that watch, and I mean this. Don't pay for that watch more than $260,000. Down, kilo. En la otra, en la otra, en la otra. Down again. Jodido. You do whatever you want. I gave it to you. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you another one, ladies and gentlemen. It's unbelievable. So Richard Mille, again, 6501. Gray carbon, The other was black carbon. This is gray carbon. Unbelievable. TPT, STD, NTPT, ultra light gray, split second crown, skeletonized with a yellow strap, gray and yellow. Unbelievable. And that guy, the Iron Sheik, tunic man, had those watches, ladies and gentlemen. 1.2, 1,100,000. Una loquera. You had to be a real window licker to give. Or you have to have just silly money, man. Just give it away, just give it away. You know, at least when I feel like giving money away, I give it to good causes. You know, I give it to people like Sweet Kick. Ay, Dios mío. And ladies and gentlemen, don't pay for that Richard Mill 6501. You know, gray carbon, TPT, STD, NTPT, ultra light gray. You know, skeletonized, split second chrono. Ladies and gentlemen, don't pay for that watch more than $282,000. And okay, guys, here it is. You got your Richard Mill, you know, you got your Richard Mill medicine, right? To get you guys going. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to talk to you about a watch here. It's a Rolex, you know, yellow gold, Sky Dweller, Oyster Flex, you know, black dial, 42 millimeter, reference number 326238. Unbelievable watch, you know. The price of this watch is $41,050. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, be careful with your money. Don't be spending it like dodo birds. No matter what they're telling you out there, this is the real. The real deal is right here, Papi. This is the real deal. I'm the one that's going to give you the real numbers. Don't pay for that, you know, Sky Dweller, you know, Oyster Flex, Yellow Gold. Listen to the, okay, 35,000. Give me one more number, 35,000. Okay. I need somebody to give me one more number. He said $35,000. Tell me what's the other number. One more. Increíble. Increíble. And, you know, it's too powerful what they have. They have a very strong platform. Okay, stop right there with Thomas. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, this gentleman, Thomas, I don't know who he is. I like him because he drops numbers here. I don't know who he is, but he's dropping numbers. He's dropping numbers like a Muppet Boiler Room secondary grade watch market dealer. With all the respect, I'm saying that, Thomas. Much love to you. All respect. Don't pay for that watch more than $28,000 and bang! Bang! Do whatever you want. You 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 do whatever you want with your money. It's your money and you do whatever you want. Watch market is dead in a backyard pool and floating face down like this. Dead. Completely dead, ladies and gentlemen. You know, every time you feel like giving money away, do the dead dance in front of a mirror like this. And you'll be cured. You will be cured. So, good job, Thomas. Good job. I can't believe you got that one. Wow. Unbelievable. So you know what's going on. All right, guys? Our next watch, ladies and gentlemen, is a Rolex Rose Gold Oyster Flex Daytona with a sun dust dial. Unbelievable. Reference number 116515LN. LN. Retail price is $31,500. Collector's choice, collector's grade, collector's dream. Right now, they were telling you that that watch was going to go all the way up to $60,000 when it was discontinued. It was discontinued. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, you do whatever you want. But don't pay for that Daytona with a sun dust dial. You do whatever you want. It's your money. You do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. I have to, you know, let you guys do your own song and dance, you know. Don't pay for that watch more. Don't pay for that watch. Don't pay more than $34,000 and dropping. Dead. You do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. But you might get this. You might get this. You do whatever you want, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is an AP Royal Oak stainless steel white dial chrono 41 millimeter. Reference number 26240. 41. Beautiful watch, ladies and gentlemen. Retail price of this watch, ladies and gentlemen, listen and learn. Listen and learn. The retail price of this watch is $40,500. This is the new reference number This is the new model. Okay? You heard the retail price, $40,500. Does anybody know what I'm going to tell you to pay for that watch? Okay, Christopher said 50,000, 48,000 is better. Okay, let's go. Let's go. Let me see 49. Okay, you went back up. 49. Okay. Okay. Maybe 49 on a blue dial. You know, on a blue dial. You know what I'm trying to say? But okay, somebody said 42, and I'm gonna make it simple for all of you. I said the retail price is $40,500, and I'm gonna tell you right now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna tell you right now, don't pay for that watch. You do whatever you want, but don't pay for that watch more than $41,500. And there it is, okay? Sí, otra vez, Kino, ¿verdad? Una vez más. ¿Tú crees? ¿Tú crees? Again, Kino said one more time. He's going crazy now. He's the one that's showing me signs. ¿De verdad? Again. That's what he said. I'm telling you, I don't know, he's going bananas. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is a Rolex. This is sad. This is sad because, you know, people off the gates, when they hear these watches, they go crazy. And I'm going to be talking about a new Rolex, you know, yellow gold Sky Dweller with a green dial, Oyster Flex. You know what I'm trying to say? The Oyster Flex, yellow gold with a green dial. You know, I said I was gonna make a watch market update, and I kept my end of the bargain. You know, I did, and I'm happy because I know you guys are all here and you're listening to me, and I feel happy that I'm doing this. But this watch has a retail price. Has a retail price of $47,100. 42 millimeter, reference number 336238. You know, and when it first came out of the gates, the horses, when it came out, everybody had a frenzy. They wanted this watch, you know, because of the green dial. You were paying for that green dial $20,000, you know, $20,000. And I want to know, because I want to find out where you guys are at, you know, where you guys are at. I want to know what price you think I'm going to tell you that you shouldn't pay. You know, I'm only going to tell you what I believe you shouldn't pay. This is the new reference. It just came out, you know, some months ago. Nobody knows? $36,000. Okay, I'm going to be honest. It's higher than that, right? It's higher than that. Okay, this is higher than that. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, do yourself a favor. If you're looking to buy that watch, that Rolex Sky Dweller, yellow gold with a green dial, don't pay for that watch. Listen to me, this watch was silly. Does anybody know what that watch, when it first was released, how much they were asking for it? Does anybody know? Can somebody put there where that watch was being sold for? There you go. Thank you, Christopher. Thank you very much, Christopher. It was in the $60,000 range. $60,000. 63, 64, 65. You know, whatever you were. If you were un palomo, that's what it was. You know, you're un palomo. What watch was it, Dr. Donut? It was the Rolex Sky Dweller with a green dial, Oyster Flex. You know, Oyster Flex. But Christopher answered my question already. I'm going to tell you today, don't pay for that watch. You do whatever you want. But don't pay for that watch more, and I mean more than $52,000 and dumping again. Se jodió esto. Dumping again. Kilo, aguántame para atrás. Jala para atrás. Stop it, Kilo. Dumping. I'm on fire today. I'm on fire. You don't know about this. You don't know about this stuff. You guys don't know about this stuff. You know what it is? 34 organic subscribers, and I only got 21 thumbs up. You know the hard work I do for you guys? You know? Believable, you people. Unbelievable. You know, no aprecian nada, Kino. No me aprecian. They don't appreciate me, Kino. 34. Now they got scared and they left. 3 ran away, like, corren como la prostituta. It's unbelievable what I do. It's unbelievable for free. And what do I get? I don't get no respect. I need to drink some jungle juice because I'm not feeling well. And Thurston Howell III told me this is prune juice. Cleansing me, Believable. So you got there. You got the Sky Dweller. You're good to go. You guys are good. You guys are good. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to talk to you about something. If any of your ADs call you up, listen to me, please. You're going to appreciate me, man. You're going to appreciate me. If any of your Rolex ADs call you up for these watch models, if they call you up for a Rolex Yachtmaster, Rose Gold, Oyster Flex, if they call you for a Rolex Yachtmaster, White Gold, Oyster Flex, listen to me. Listen to what I'm going to tell you, people. I shouldn't be telling you this, but I will, because every once in a while, I'm a kind man. You buy it better from the Muppet Boiler Room secondary grade watch market. Those watches are dead in water. We're talking about, ladies and gentlemen, the Rolex. The Rolex Rose Gold Yachtmaster, black dial, black ceramic bezel, Oyster Flex, reference number 268655, with a retail price of $28,500. Don't pay. It's a 37 millimeter, 37, for a small frame, a petite body, Don't pay. And I'm talking about don't pay. You do whatever you want. You want what you do whatever you want, my God. Stop right there with that person, put $19,000. Stop right there with that person, and I'll show you it to you after the show is over. I'll show it to you. Don't pay for that. He put it down. What's his name? What is your name? Sir, Mr. D, what is your name? We need names here, What is your name? He put $19,000, ladies and gentlemen. Don't pay for that watch. David, Mr. David put $19,000 for that watch. Ding, 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 ding. He hit it in the head. Tap, tap, tap. Don't pay for that watch more than $19,000 and dropping. Se jodió, Kino. Se jodió, le dio la cabeza. I'm telling you. Good job, David. Don't pay more than 19. Don't pay more. If the AD calls you, and you see AD, you don't pick up the phone. Don't pick it up. I know what I'm telling you. You do whatever you want with your money. You do whatever you want. You got that one. Our next one, ladies and gentlemen, exactly, you'll get the logo. Ladies and gentlemen, our next one is unbelievable. It's a Rolex White Gold Yachtmaster. Black dial, black ceramic bezel, Oyster Flex. 42 millimeter. 42. In a sense, you got something here because you have that titanium Yachtmaster, 42 millimeter with the black dial, the black ceramic bezel, and they're asking for that watch. Crazy people. I don't want to get into that, but this watch, you're getting white gold. You're getting something, fuerte, strong in your hand. The mommies go by and you say hello. And, they might show you their armpit. But it's a nice watch. It's a nice watch, ladies and gentlemen. Very, very nice. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, this watch has a retail price of $35,000. Unbelievable. 35,000 maraca kilo. You're going to have to pull me back again. $35,000. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to have to take my glasses off to take a look-see at this, because this is credible. Don't pay for that watch. Again, if you're looking for that watch, you go buy it, from one of those, palomos, one of those lambones, one of those people that have been fleecing you guys for many years. Until me and Sweet Kikino to me, Joaquin to you came around. Don't pay for that watch. Somebody put there $25,000. I'm going to give somebody the opportunity to throw one more number out there. 47th Street. Okay, 47th Street. Nobody has another number for that watch? 29,500. You know, Mr. Christopher, eh, no bueno. No bueno, Mr. Christopher. No bueno. No 29,500. No bueno. Don't pay for that watch. And if you're smart, don't pay for that watch. You do whatever you want. My God, man. You really believe those prices? Wow. Okay. But there's no money out there, papi. No hay dinero. Eso es pura paja. It's pure fantasy is what they have out there. Pure fantasy. Don't pay for that watch. Don't pay for that watch more than $22,500. And done! Done! I'm telling you, you're better off if you're looking at that titanium. Take a look at that one. Take a look at that one. No saben, you know, no saben, no saben, no saben, no saben. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a gentleman that's been asking me about the Vacheron Constantin historic. You know, yellow gold, the 222. Unbelievable machine. Unbelievable. You know, this is it's a very small for the wrist, like 37 millimeter watch. But it's yellow gold, you know, it's it's that watch in the 70s, it was unbelievable, you know? When people wear that type of size of watches. So, you know, I can wear it. It's gonna look kind of funny on me, but I could probably put it on, you know. But this watch is unbelievable, the 4200, you know, H222, right? Has a retail price of $77,000. $77,000. Does anybody have an idea how much I'm going to tell you to pay for that watch? Anybody have an idea? Nobody has an idea? No, huh? $36,000. Okay, $36,000. All right. Nobody has an idea of that watch. I don't know. Okay. Don't pay for that watch. Sir, this is for you. Don't pay. Don't pay for a Brad Pitt watch. Don't pay for that watch more, and I mean more than $59,800. Wow. I'm telling you, this gentleman, Thomas, he's a watch dealer. He said less than me. There you go. Wow. Good for you, Thomas. Good for you. We got to keep an eye on Thomas. He knows too much. Ladies and gentlemen, here's another watch that I was asked to please talk about this watch. This is the Omega Seamaster Diver 300. You know, titanium and titanium. You know, believable. Those James Bond people, you know. That you buy that watch, they give you an attaché this big. You know, it's so big, you know. Unbelievable. What a big box, you know, there, like a tape recorder, you know, a phone, it has everything, like James Bond, you know, unbelievable. And ladies and gentlemen, this watch, ladies and gentlemen, if you're looking at it, you see, I'm telling you, Bobby, they know too much. They come here to watch me. They come to see my craft. I'm telling you, they come to see my craft. That's all I got to say. Ladies and gentlemen, don't pay. That Omega, ladies and gentlemen, the price of that Omega. Wow. Wow, Mr. Y. What is your name, Mr. Y? Unbelievable, that Mr. Y. We have David and Mr. Y. The Siemens Master. Okay, you're right. But ladies and gentlemen, this watch has a retail price of $10,600. And I'm going to tell you, don't pay for that watch. You do whatever you want, sir. It's your money, and you spend it as you please. But don't pay for that watch. Don't pay for that watch more. Should come. Don't. Listen, man. We got Jose Diaz saying $55.90. And I'm going to tell you, don't pay for that watch more than $5,700 in dropping. All right, guys? You have that one. There you go. You guys are looking real, real good, guys. You guys are doing real well. These are my two last watches for the evening, ladies and gentlemen, right? These are my two watches for the evening. This is the Vacheron Constantin Historics 222 stainless steel with a blue dial. You know, reference number 4200H/4200H. And this is a beautiful watch, ladies and gentlemen. This is a very, very beautiful watch. 37 millimeter as well. Just came out not too long ago. Has a retail price of $33,300. And it went all the way up to $80,000, $75,000, $70,000. And you know the game. You know how the game works. And I'm going to tell you today, ladies and gentlemen, for this watch, you know, it's the truth and nothing but the truth that we give in this channel. You know, nothing but the truth. What I tell you here is the truth. Don't pay for that watch, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. You do whatever you want with your money, but don't pay for that watch more. And you want it, you know, you want it to use. You want it used, slightly conditioned material, you know, with all the bells and whistles, you know. Beautiful watch, small little, you know, for small wrist, 37 millimeter, but it's beautiful. Kino likes it for some, you know, Kino likes it very much. ¿A ti te gusta ese reloj, Kino? Tú me lo has dicho. Hey, sí, ese mismo. Mm-hmm. Don't pay for that watch, ladies and gentlemen. Don't pay more. Man, look at this. What a crowd we have tonight. Don't pay for that watch. You do whatever you want, but don't pay for that watch more than $46,000 in dropping. You do whatever you want. And this is my last watch market update of the day. You know, we have, I spoke to you guys yesterday briefly about this watch brand. That I believe that this watch brand some way should be in the table, or the same table with, you know, with the APs. Listen to this, what I say, with the APs, the Patex, the Vacheron Constantin, and yours truly, the crown of watches, Rolex. And I'm talking about no other than the Moose. You know, the Moose. It's unbelievable, that Moose. Moose. H. Moser is an unbelievable watch brand. I have really looked into H. Moser, and I have looked at their watches. I have handled them, and ladies and gentlemen, I might, I might get one of those watches myself. I have told you that those watches, you know, if you can get them for, you know, 50, 60, 75% off, you know, they're unbelievable. But for some reason, they just, you know, can't kick that can hard enough, and it's just there, you know. But they're beautiful watches. And this is right here, again, this is the H. Moser, the Endeavor, you know, Century, Seconds, Concept, you know, beautiful watch. Oh man, this is reference number 1200/1239 with a black dial, stainless steel, beautiful watch. The, you know, open case in the back is unbelievable, but they're just not getting, that. And you might be thinking, man, why is he saying that that watch brand should be sitting with the Rolexes and the APs and the Patex and the Vacheron? Because they're making, their watches are made tremendo. Why don't you put FP Jordan there? Okay, FP Jordan, you know, makes 1,800, 2,000, you know, pieces, and they're all giving out all those watches from FP, ladies and gentlemen. You know, they're giving to those, you know, Muppet Boiler Room secondary grade watchmaker dealers. You know, it's what it is, the way they're handling, you know, the situation. But we'll talk about that another day. And ladies and gentlemen, this watch has a retail price of $28,000. $28,000 to the whales, yes, sir. And I'm going to tell you, you do whatever you want, but don't pay for that watch more. I'm going to be kind. I am, because I have a liking to them. I'm going to be kind. Don't pay for that watch more. And I mean, don't pay for that watch more than $12,900. And I don't want to do that to them, you know, because I like them a lot. Ladies and gentlemen, that's our watch market update show for this evening. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something from our channel. You know, we try to always bring you something so you can learn something, you know. I told you about what's happening with the memos that they're giving around, so you guys get used to the idea of the 39% tariff. You know, all of them are clobbering your head. You know who they are. You guys follow them all around. You know who they are. You know, we're talking about. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Very welcome. You know who they are. So be careful. Don't be dodo birds and don't listen to that memo. It's a sketch. Don't listen to the memo. All right, guys? Also, I told you about a great documentary that you all should watch. And it's called, America, Freedom, and Fascism. It's an unbelievable documentary. You will learn a whole lot. All right? Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and like our video. And ladies and gentlemen, we have a private watch group. It's under my name, Juan Felipe Nieves. Go to About and Facebook. You'll see there Opus and Time Watches. Request to join the channel. It depends how long you've been Facebook, whatever it is. You know what I'm trying to say. All right, guys? Thurston Howell III, thank you very much for supporting the channel. From the bottom of my heart to all of you, thank you very much for supporting the channel. And that means all of you. That just doesn't mean Thurston. It means all of you. All of you. By you here, by you being here, you're supporting this channel. So thank you very much again. All right, guys? Thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. And thank you again, once again, Thurston Howell III, for always supporting the channel. Thank you very much. Listen to me. My birthday is on Friday. And ladies and gentlemen, you're not going to believe the cake I got prepared, for you guys. We have an unbelievable cake that we need to share. I need to share with you guys because, somebody special did that cake for me, So don't forget Friday. I will say sometime Friday, like around 5 o'clock, Is 5 o'clock a good time for all of you? Just give me a couple of thumbs up. And if not, you know what I'm saying. It's going to be a good show. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right, guys? You guys really mean a lot to me and to Kino. Kino to me, Joaquin to you. You guys being here with me for an hour and a couple of minutes is special. Okay, so do it late. You're saying, okay, all right, I'm going to do a little later. Okay, guys? Good night. I love you guys. Stay safe. Be well. Oh, I forgot to say this. Take care and brush your hair. Good night.